This hive is going to get a second deep today. The deep that's on top of it right now isn't actually on top of it. It's an empty deep on top of the inner cover. And it doesn't need a second deep because they're not expanding. It's not a strong colony at all. If I had other hives around here, I would combine this with another hive and just make it one big hive. But they've been knocked back over in all of June. They were just basically, the queen stopped laying and it's just not a strong hive because of the cold weather. So now we got good weather and they're starting to build up, but it's really very slow process. I'm not going to get honey off this hive at all. If they're not strong by June, then it's game over basically, right? And it's June now, or July, I mean. So anyhow, I've got all this honey I'm putting on another deep because I have all this honey in these deeps, and the honey's going to go bad. And because I'm not going to get my other bees back for at least another week now, which sort of sucks, but anyway, I can't let that honey go bad, so I'm just going to put a new box on top of it and just say the hell with it and deal with it later. So basically I'm just using this hive as storage for some honey for frames until I get my other bees on the go. Here we go. And I put in some fresh frames earlier today and they're already full of bees. So the bees are doing a great job of cleaning up the frames that I put in there. But I'm just going to give them a whole new box. And I'm using smoke today because I just don't want to mess around. When in doubt, use smoke, I guess. I've got some gloves on, but they're not really covering my skin completely, so this could be bad news. We'll see. And it's supposedly 37 degrees, but that's not it. I'd say it's in the 20s though. This thermometer is definitely wrong. So that's good. Oh, this is a good sign. They're building some burr comb underneath this inner cover, so they're trying to expand. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give them room to expand. Let's see if I can find the queen. Probably not up here, and she's not up here, and the bees seem really chilled out, so that's good. But we'll see how long that lasts. I'm gonna give them a little hit of smoke. This is looking good. So that all these top bars are full of bees. So that means I hope it means that a lot of new brood has emerged, and so this colony is expanding, but it's not expanding quickly. Like what you want 3 or 4 frames of cat brood all the time, at least 3 or 4 frames of cat brood, so that every 24 days you got a new generation of baby bees coming through. Anyway, I'm going to take a poke at this middle frame. I just want to see if they're building on it, or if the queen is laying eggs, because I know I put in an empty frame in the middle of all this. But right now this looks really good. This is exactly what you want to see all the time. Just bees crowding the top bars. But I wanted to see this a month ago, not today. And a month ago there was only like 3 or 4 frames of bees hanging up top. And I'm just going to dig right in the middle and pull out the middle frame. There we go. Okay. So this looks okay. This is a drone brood. Big, thick, bumpy brood. And that's the drones. And it's in a foundationless frame, which is what I would expect from a foundationless frame. Lots of drones. Hives that have plastic foundation, and all the frames are plastic foundation. The plastic foundation is usually smaller, has smaller cells for worker bees, and so the queen has nowhere to lay. Oh, this is good. So I think this is the frame that I put in about a week ago. It was completely blank, and now it's completely full of brood, cap brood. So that's great. So I can't find the queen, and you don't need to find the queen when you got loads of brood like this on the go. I'm gonna take one more look because I'm curious, and the bees are not pesty at all. Okay. Yep, fresh brood here too. And on the other side. Oh good. I bet the queen is over here somewhere. Let me see. No, I can't find her. I'm not going to look too hard. Well, this is looking really good. This is exactly what I want to see. But again, it's something I wanted to see a month ago, not today. Today's July 6th or something. 7th, I think it is. It looks like a large puff of smoke, but it's just the edge of the smoke is hitting the bees, not going right down into the hive. Okay, this must be the empty frame. Yeah, and it's got lots of fresh brood in it. The whole thing is full of brood. Little white grubs. Same as this side. Looking good. Oh, I see a queen cup. Let's just double check that, make sure they're not trying to replace their old queen. No, that's empty. And some people see queen cups and they think the bees are ready to swarm, but they're not. It's not necessarily the case. And they destroy the queen cups, but there's no need to do that. I never do it. They're just going to build it 2 seconds later. Anyway, so I'm going to take 2 frames of brood, that cat brood I took earlier, and this open brood, and I'm going to put them in the top box, and I'm going to replace these 2 frames, even if it splits up the brood a bit, because there's enough bees in there to keep them warm. I'm going to put in some empty frames in the middle there. Lots of nectar, a lot of empty space too, so that's good. And now the smoke is smoking all over the place. So that's good. They'll clean up those frames and hopefully the queen will start laying. So this is a frame of brood. I'm just going to stick this in the middle, up top. So the bees will come up top and the queen will come up top. And hopefully she'll start laying. But these bees are totally chill. It's a good sign. I think the bees are chilled when they're happy. When they've got stuff to do, when they have honey, nectar and pollen and everything they need to build a nice happy home. So this is another one of the frames that I'm talking about. I'm using, it's starting to get just gooey and a little bit moldy. So I don't want to just keep that in storage any longer. So I'm putting it in this hive, they can clean it up and they can use it. Queen has lots of place to lay, everybody's happy. Okay, that's that. I'll just put this empty deep on top. So this is a good ventilation rim. So hopefully that extra space will encourage the queen to just lay more because she's got the space. The way I see it is when they have a small confined space, they'll eagerly fill in that space and they're not overwhelmed by it. But if you give them too much space all at once, the queen just sort of might just lay in a couple frames in the middle and then go down instead of just spreading it all out. So if you let them spread it all out in one box and then add them another box, they'll just fill up the other box. They'll fill them up quicker and better, in theory. I don't know if that actually happens, but anyway. Well, that's it. So this hive now has two deeps. One on the bottom that you can hardly see, and then the one I just added with the little banana on top, and then the other one on top of the inner cover there, which I'm just using as space, just for ventilation basically. And then there's a ventilation rim on top, and it's all good. And so this is one of those situations where I can just leave this hive alone until probably, you know, August, and not to worry about it, because I'll probably take a peek in a couple weeks, but the top now has some extra honey for them to clean up, and probably, well, at least 3, probably 4 or 5 blank frames or empty frames of drawn comb, so the queen has space to lay. They'll clean all that up. She'll say, oh, it's nice and clean, just good enough for me to lay. I'm happy with this now. You guys did great work. And so she starts laying. But she won't start laying until all those frames are very clean, and she's very picky about where she lays her eggs, right? So they're off to the races. And that bottom deep was just full of bees. So that's a good sign. You know, you always want to see just, you look in and there's bees everywhere. That's, any time of the year where you see bees everywhere is a good time of year. It's always a good thing to see. Unless, of course, it's winter time and they don't have enough food, but usually it's a good thing. And that's it. Pretty exciting. Okay, so what we have here is we have the bees coming into the entrance, the top entrance, and down here they're going back to the spot where the old top entrance used to be, because they're homed in on that very small spot. Eventually they'll figure it out and they'll go up top, but that's what's going on. A lot of activity out here. Probably a few dead bees got squished when I put on the inner cover, and they're probably just wondering, hey, what's going on? They'll clean up those dead bees, and sometimes they'll cluster around them like this.